monetization learnings. So please welcome Michal, and good luck.
Yes. Hi, hello. Hello, thank you for coming, and thank you organizers for putting such a nice conference together. I have been here 2 years ago, and it was such a pleasure experience that I was really looking forward to come back again. So a few words about me. I'm leading monetization team in SuperScale, and also I'm enthusiastic about growing games, seeing how games can grow higher, earn more money. Previously, so within the gaming experience, I've analyzed more than 100 games, growth, so worked on more than 20 games. Together with my team, I was able to create more than 20 million of like uplift revenue, so created value. Yes, previously I'm coming from the product management background, so I was responsible for the fixed internet in telecom, roughly 50 million revenue, and then I switched for the application, so Sagic was like Google Maps, but offline. Okay, I also was one of the co-creators of the Battle Legion. Has anybody played the Battle Legion? Okay, I see some hands. It's a game where you manage army. You organize it, and then in the autoplay, it goes against the enemy. I was responsible for the majority of the economy part and some monetization design. Also, previously, I started up a startup. It still lives today, so it's like 7 years roughly. It's no $1 million company, but I believe that's a success for a startup to survive for multiple years. And also in my free time, I have a family, and that's how I spend my time. Okay, now just a few words about the company, about the SuperScale. So are you familiar with SuperScale? Have you, I don't know, worked together, talked together? Okay, I see some hands, that's nice. We are working with small as well as big studios like EA, Big Fish, Lego. You know some of them. We've got more than 60 experts across different verticals to really find what's the best place, what's the best way how to grow a game. And we are also building tools to support the growth, and we have helped more than 150 titles. This is how our customers can see the cooperation with us. So since we have done many of these things before, the road should be pretty straightforward. On the other hand, if somebody at least is starting, like doing a first game, there are many pitfalls and dangers, missing steps, and so on. But now let's to the actual talk. So do games fail? It's yeah, maybe a bit of more of introduction. So I would like for you to take what I would like for you to take out of this talk, that your new games will have higher chance of success, so that you will learn something that you will apply, and for your existing game to have some knowledge how to further increase the revenue. Now back to the question. So do games fail? Everything is growing, especially within mobile games. So this is for the worldwide players. We'll see more than half of the population in few years will play games. And at the same time, regarding the revenue, we see tremendous growth, especially for the mobile, where it's almost 27%. So when everything is growing, it should be fairly easy to success on market. So do actually free-to-play games fail? Let's dive in and see some numbers. So when we analyzed, actually, I picked this out of our customer. Our customer came to us with, he had a match 3 game, so we were helping him. So this is actually part of the deliverable that we deliver to our partner. So when we analyze iOS puzzle category, there is more than 3 billion in yearly revenue, and there are more than 15,000 games in that category. It sounds appealing. On average, every game should earn like 200,000 per year, which should be a profitable game, but it is a bit more complicated. So coming back to the customer, they came to us. Like, according to like some report, we are at the top 20% regarding the revenue or ARPDAU. But at the same time we have no revenue. Like it is so low that we are not able to scale the game and like make it a profitable product. Why is it so? And it's like, yes, this is pretty common, but let's see why is it. So the top application within the iOS puzzle category is the Candy Crush, which is earning, this is monthly revenue. There is some average, so roughly $32 million per month. And top 1% application. So if you order iOS puzzle category, one application one by one, the top 1% will earn $500,000. Top 5% will earn only 20,000. Top 10% it's 10,000, and top 20% it's 4,000. And actually, this really correlates with what we saw with our partner, that they were with the top 20%, but at the same time, there's no way this could be a profitable game. So just to finish, so somebody who's right in the middle is earning roughly $400 per month. So coming back to this, what does it mean? It means that the market is extremely concentrated on the top, that the winners, like the top players, take it all, but which on the other hand means that if you are able to increase your ARPDAU, you will see multiple increase in your revenue. So each cent that you add on the ARPDAU, you will see multiplication of that in your revenue. To continue a bit with the drill down, so the Candy Crush, as I explained, is taking 13% of overall revenue within the puzzle category. And top 3 applications, it's 1/3 of all the revenue, and top 20 applications are taking 70% of the market. So this is how it is. How is it concentrated? So it means that winners take it all, and if we want to succeed with games, for me, success is to create a profitable game. So having a product that people that worked on that game can pay, salaries and everything that the product covers. So if we want to have such a product, in my opinion, it's roughly $20,000, which is roughly top 5% in that category. This is for one category, but generally the principle applies for most of the categories, but some numbers will be a bit different. So this is the state of the market, and now let's go a bit deeper. Why is it so hard, and what should we do that our product succeed? So I'm sure many of you work with games, and this is expected. Like, we should focus on everything. We should do the product market fit. We should do the MVP and test it on the market and measure and see the results and do A/B tests and everything that comes to your mind. But not all of these things are created equal. So how would you differentiate which are important and which are less important? Where should you put your focus on? So according to our research, so all of what I will speak about is coming from us analyzing more than like dozens, maybe hundreds of the games. On one hand, games that do not earn money, and on the other hand, top grossing games that are on the top charts. And according to our understanding, the key is to really look at things that impact revenue. So what do I mean? Let's take one example. So there is a core loop and there is graphic. Graphic for the game, it's something inevitable. Every game nowadays should have a good graphics, but at the same time, we have seen games with ugly games earning money, and on the other hand, very nice games, but not being profitable, not earning money. On the other hand, if you take a core loop, so something which player goes through repeatedly and it allows him to spend money, that's directly impacting the future or the success of the product. So this was an example, and based on what we work with, these are the top 5 reasons why games fail. So it's lack of innovation, so just copying things, retention problems, problems with design of monetization, problems with content and pacing, and spending depth. Now I will go through each of these and explain it. So, lack of monetization. This one is by far the hardest one. because to bring something new, innovate on something, it's not easy. Steve Jobs said that innovation is the only way to win, and everybody of us knew, maybe even we use products from Steve Jobs and from Apple. I have not exactly Elon Musk in my mind when speaking about innovation, trying to improve everything. Like he's building such a big rocket that it has never done before. He wants it to be fully reusable, never done before. Everything doing from scratch. So you do not have to build everything from scratch. If you want to increase your chances of success, build on top of things that are verified, that have been tested, and you see that you, or maybe somebody else, was able to build a profitable game. Usually when we're speaking about innovation, there are these two main things, like CPIs, cost per install, and LTV. For sure, that's basic, that everybody should know. And LTV has to be higher than the cost per install. So you need to know what is your advantage. You need to do something better than others. If you just like something and copy it without deep understanding, there is high chance that you will, or the product will fail, because why should existing player of different games switch games? Like there's no benefit in it. So this is why the innovation comes in. So I've got a few examples how some companies innovate. So for example, Raid Shadow Legends, they're famous for having top-notch quality CGI creatives. This allows them, I suppose everybody of you saw these ads, and they really appeal to emotions. And this is the reason why their CPIs are lower, because people are more commenting on that. Maybe somebody shared it, and this bit of virality is decreasing their CPIs. According to one presentation, it was by 30%, which is a crazy amount. Next example is Hero Wars. They are again famous for these fake ads, at least some time ago. And what it helps on the CPI side is that you try to find players in a different pool. So we are not competing within the same pool as everybody else is with your core loop and your design, your target group, but they showed like a different core gameplay. I know it's not completely honest, but the reason why they do it is because because it works. So suddenly they were fishing. It's actually a competition of the Raid Shadow Legends for those who do not know. So it's an RPG, very heavy RPG game, but they're representing the game as the puzzle game, and suddenly that's completely different people, different audience, reacting differently to that. And that's the reason, again, so the targeting helped them decrease the CPIs, and in the end, increase the spend and the scalability of the game. So on the LTV side, I picked as an example Tennis Clash. It's a game released. It's a very good tennis game, and actually it's a game released like maybe a year and a half ago. All of these games are earning more than 1 million per month, and this game, it was not the first one with the tennis core loop. But what they did well was they really brought a good meta game to yeah, for sure. The core is really nice. As you play the game, it feels natural. It's great. I recommend if you are into the sports game, this is a really good choice. But the monetization, they brought existing gacha with units monetization to the Tennis Clash. And this is why they succeed. Archero, I suppose everybody played this. So again, it was not the first game that was roguelike or going up level after level, but it's extremely easy to pick up. And when you get hooked to that is the innovation. When you get hooked to that, the LTV is going up. And the last example on the LTV side is Project Makeover. I'm really surprised with this game because what they brought is the much deeper story. So when we had like a classic match 3 Candy Crush, then we had the Matchington Mansions and narratively driven match 3 games, and they pushed this to another level. So the story, if you play the game, the story is such appealing that the player feels like being director of a reality show. and at the same time playing the match 3. So this is about the innovation. So you have to innovate. However, if you believe you've got something special, please ask others. I mean, ask players, not friends, fools, and family, who usually tend to lie to us that, yes, you created a good game. OK, number 2, retention. Especially about the retention focus. So usually what we look at is the early retention, so how many players stay with us for the initial days. So I picked 2 games, the red one and the blue one. So which game would you like to work on? Who would like to work on the red game? Yeah, 2 people. Who would like to work on a blue game? More people, like 3 times more people, let's say. But actually, this is not what decides the success. So the early retention is not what decides the success. I have worked on games that had 20% retention day 1, but at the same time, they were earning millions. What is important with the retention is somewhere down here, long after players stay. And the difference is that the red game is keeping the players. So for sure, everybody is losing players at the beginning, but the important part is if the players stay with the game. So if the game is able to create a regular players, so somebody who will play the game for multiple years coming in. On the other hand, the blue game is losing the players. So it's more about building a player base rather than focusing on I need to increase retention. So this is what we should focus on. And again, when player stays longer in the game, the LTV should be higher. Number 3, monetization design. So as I understand monetization, it's the progress. So desire for progress, and that's what we are monetizing. You have to know what is the main progress with your game. So this is an example, like you start with something and you level it up, you collect, you add stats to that. So for example, as the progress, the player can gain the power, so he's increasing his stats. He can gain time or energy, since it's time dependent. He's gaining currency and he's gaining new content. So for example, next level, new unit, and so on. On the other, and so this is the main progression, why players want to stay with the game and continue it. On the other hand, players invest something into the game. So they can invest money as in-app purchases, they can invest their time as ad views, and there are some alternative systems like data. For example, some games monetize the location data or other surveys and so on. We'll see how. I see a bit of innovation in this field, so we will see how that turns out. A bit of case study now. So with one of the studio, when we came to the project, their revenue was roughly 50-50 compared to the progression revenue and revenue from the skins. And they felt that the skins revenue is really strong. They were creating 50% of their revenue out of skins. So they wanted to focus more on the skins, that it will bring them even more money. But actually, when we analyzed the game, we just crossed the strategy. And we explained them that the progress is the main thing why people spend time and money in the game. As we did some redesign of their monetization, we saw like almost 10 times revenue increase. And suddenly the 10% skins revenue, it looks like nothing. I'm not telling that this is the only option. I know there are games monetizing only with skins like PUBG and really big titles, but it's, according to my understanding, this is by far the safest way how you can achieve success. Number 4, content and pacing. So do you know how long does it take, top grossing games, do you know how long does it take to finish the game, to come to the end game, collect everything? You've got any guesses? Never. Never. I love the choice. There's 2 years. Very good choices. So As we calculated it, in Clash Royale, it's currently 7 years. It's changing due to the economy. When they started, it was maybe even less than 2 years, but currently it's more than 7 years because, you know, they started with like 40 units or something like that, and currently they have more than 100 units. And for the puzzles and empires, it's not so easy to calculate, but it's more than 5 years. So your content needs to last for years. For those players at the end of the curve that will stay with the game, it needs to be enjoying for them, always getting something. So the game length can be calculated as the amount of content and pacing in terms of how often you give the new content to the players. And yeah, it needs to last for years. This is an example of one of the games that we also, the studio, usually the case is that the studio comes to us and like, hey guys, we've got the game and we've got the problem, we cannot scale the game, what should we do? And so for example, this specific game, this was their example problem. So you can here see the like content distribution of the Clash Royale back in 2019. So you know the curve starts pretty steep, so you can build a deck and play around. And as you progress through the arenas, you unlock more people. So this is roughly how the content distribution looks like. And compared to the game that we worked on, you know, you see it's just in the first day, you receive everything, and then there's nothing more. So why should you continue playing game if there's nothing more you can collect, nothing more you can receive, no change to the game? So we helped them, you know, redesign close to the Clash Royale since it was a comparable game, and their LTV multiplied after this redesign. So a very important thing is that you know where are your players. You do not have to have all of the content prepared in the beginning when you are global launching, but you need to monitor where are the players. And when you see that there's a big chunk of them waiting at the end of the content, waiting what will be next, you need to constantly add more. Number 5 is the spending depth. Are you working with this term? Are you familiar with it? What is it? Any guesses? Okay, so it's amount of money that the player is able to spend in the game to get to the end game. So if I just launch the game and I just want to have all of the cards in Clash Royale or other game, how much should I need to put into the game? So we spoke about the progression, so the question is how much does the progression cost? And again, question, do you have guesses how much these games cost? Very good guess, 30,000. Anybody else? Can we go higher? Anybody? So it's 15,000 for the Clash Royale, and for the Empires and Puzzle, it's more than 400,000. So this allows, it has multiple benefits. This allows the game, it supports that the game can be played for years. At the same time, the game can be generous. So you've got plenty of things that you can give out, since it will not cut down your spending depth. It will not break for the top spenders. So if you've got some amount of players and there's somebody like with a big wallet coming in, they are able to spend directly few hundreds, maybe even few thousand euros, and the game needs to withstand this. So the game cannot break for these people. And also, you've got a space for discounts and special offers with deep spending depth. So again, example from one of the games that we are working on. So this is a typical spread that we see, that there is like majority of the players do not spend in the game. It's in this specific game, it was 98%. It's a PvP, like a battle game. And all of the revenue, we are speaking now only about in-app revenue, is concentrated on the top. So if you take, you know, 0.2% of the players, they are accounting for 60% of the revenue. And we have worked on multiple games, and this is typical what we see. Especially if you count like Battle Pass, let's say, and a player will buy the Battle Pass multiple times in a row since he likes the game, he will end up to the top somewhere. So the sad truth is that actually we are creating games for these people, and that's the reason why we can survive and have companies and so on. So coming to the summary, So you need to aim to the top. We are in a market where the winners takes it all, so you need to aim to the moon to have a chance to get somewhere. Not all things are equally important. So pay high attention to things that really impact revenue. According to my experience, it's usually game design, and in the free-to-play, I consider game design being a monetization at the same time due to the monetization loop. Innovate. So the best way of innovation is on top of existing verified economies, verified core loops, and so on. But at the same time, you need to bring something new. Retention. The long-term retention is important, not the short one. But on the other hand, I understand it's not possible to work with long-term retention. Like, can you imagine launching an A/B test and waiting half a year to see a result, like if it really helps or not? So I understand it's hard to work, but that is where the success comes. Then number 5 is monetization design. So the progress is what is monetized. The content and pacing of the game needs to last for years, and for the spending depth, it's highly recommended, now speaking not hyper-casuals, but casuals and above, to at least $10,000. So hopefully, I believe this talk gave you something that your games will have higher chance of success, and maybe for existing games that your revenue will be increased. There are some recommended articles. Maybe you can reach out to me and I can share them with you that are really good explaining this. So I'm looking forward to the questions.
Yeah, thanks a lot for an interesting speech. You sounded really inspired by the topic you were talking about. So yeah, we can start asking questions. Yeah.
Hello, and thank you very much. Tell please, when you calculate lifetime in game, do you calculate it for paying players or everyone players or non-paying players? So 7 years, which players is it?
Okay, I'm sorry for that. So the amount of years, it was for the players who are not paying in the game anything. So free-to-play players not spending $1.
Hi, I'm Michal from Hawaii Gallery. I would like to touch the topic of ethics. As some of you may know, there are probably more, but there is like a site which is called darkpatterns.games, which actually shows exploitive patterns used in monetization, temporal patterns, social patterns, which basically makes people playing not really when they want or when they have time, but it creates a certain artificial, let's say, ways to push them to the game, right? If you compare those worst games and the top grossing, they are more or less the same, right? So basically the games that make money are usually using these dark patterns. Do you know any game which would not be using such exploitive mechanics but still be able to make reasonable money on free-to-play?
I'm not sure now I understand, because not everybody is using fake ads. Like
not fake ads.
Okay,
but,
I'm sorry.
All these mechanics, like for example, whatever commitments to your clan. Yes, that you have to whatever participate in a clan battle, and instead of playing with your kid, you really need to make the task which you are supposed to, because otherwise you will be punished in the game, right? So all these patterns that actually, no, there are some psychological patterns that make kind of addiction, right? You could call it, and these are games that make money, which is sad but true. So how to do it in the ethic way?
Okay, I don't see a problem in that. Because usually the free content and currencies that you are receiving are spread across the features in the game. So something you can receive for just logging in, something you can receive for events, something you can receive for the free-to-play. I mean the standard free-to-play, and this is actually coming to the monetization, because you want to progress faster, and the game is not, the balance is not giving you enough. So I'm not sure I answered.
I was not maybe explained properly, but maybe let's have this discussion offline, because maybe some other people would like to.
Okay, I will be available.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, hello. My question is how to make a 7-year content with small team. Yeah.
Very good question. Very good question. So, from my experience, you need to be prepared for the global launch to have something for multiple months. It is highly dependent on the game. So, if I don't know, like Candy Crush, which is currently 10,000 levels, they launched with, I'm not sure if I remember correctly, but something like 100 levels. So, you know, you have to create your tools and people optimize it, you know, to be sustainable. Like games as a Clash Royale, which is based on randomness, and you are upgrading the stuff, it extremely helps. But if your game is based on like levels or where you need the level design, that's I understand it's the narrow point. How do you call it? The úzké miesto. You know, like the place where you need more people to create more content, and actually the top spenders, they are so hungry for for the content that what you are creating for, I don't know, 1 month, they eat in 2 days. Yeah.
Thanks.
Hello. Well, let's get that I decided that the whole content should cost $4,000. Is there any advice how should I choose progression of the cost?
Can you maybe explain a bit more?
Well, how the cost should be increased by the levels?
I'm sorry, maybe just to try in Russian and explain it, translate it to English?
Let's say that all the levels cost $4,000. Is there any advice on how to make progression on each level? Yeah.
Understood. Usually the monetization pressure, I don't know how should I call it, usually it's lower at the beginning and then growing up, but you need to be very careful about not going like exponential. So maybe it's really similar to the curve of, like, okay, so it's the difference for every game, but generally I would guess it was something like this. I mean, how much money does the player need to progress to the next, I don't know, level or next arena or something like that? I would expect to be something like this. So, I mean, regarding the price, imagine this is the price. So at the beginning, it's much cheaper to progress, and as the player is longer in the game, it goes up. But you know, watch out at the tail end, because what I have seen multiple times is that this goes linearly up, which in the end ends up not accessible to anyone. So you need the curve to go a bit down. Like, this is the rough shape that I would that we have seen work the best. Yeah, yeah. This is not a good case.
Hi, I'm Daria. I'm from Holy Water. So thank you very much for your interesting presentation. Could you please explain some best practices on how to monetize those like top whales, like super whales who pay more than 1,000? So maybe we should give them some like really expensive special offers, or should we make totally different monetizations for them? Like from the beginning, we should define who is who, and then like provide with different track of monetization or something like that.
Okay, I will help myself with not mobile games, but something that, you know, my friends did, and actually they, like, for example, if such a person acquires to them, I would like to see this in a game, they just go directly, create it, and make a special pack for these people. Generally, what we see that really works well is we created a tool, we call it personalization. It's a machine learning tool that creates personalized offers for everybody. One of the key components is the price point. So, for example, if somebody is purchasing pretty often for a high price point, there's no reason to show him like $5 offers because like, you know, he's ready to pay 100. Why should you at least look at the $5 offers? So I hope I answered at least to some extent.
Yeah, to some extent. But should the content of that offer be the same? Like, let's say we provide some coins, like some coins. Should like if for everybody 1,000 coins costs $5, should like the ratio be the same for whales or no?
I would not go this direction. It's extremely hard due to the community. So you know, one player has something different price than another. The way around it is with the personalization, as I started, because one of the parameters is the discount. So, and this is how you can, at least to some extent, like differentiate the price per something for different players, and yeah, that's how we do it.
So
and with the personalization, each of the player can receive different offer according to his needs. So you are not offering something that he does not need. You are not giving discount that he does not need because he will buy it either way.
Okay. So actually, yeah, you say like the same value for different money, but masked with discounts.
Yes, that's
yeah. Thank you for
what we
your
find
idea.
out how it works. But like even with the even with the personalization, you know, different players seeing different offers. It's, you know, some studios do not like it, some don't mind. The community always knows because the players, you know, share screenshots. I received these, and you know, there are usually we go around that it is randomized and personalized, so they do not expect the same thing. I mean, the players do not expect having the same thing everybody.
Hello, thank you so much for your presentation. I have a question in the same field. How do you build audience or segments for these whales? What rules do you use? Does it base it on monthly payments or total payments, LTV or whatever? Thank you so much.
So each of the segments should have, as you segment the players and analyze them one after another, each of them should have something meaningful to buy. So let's say you are willing to spend €5 in the game, it makes sense because you receive something that will move you forward. If you are willing to spend, let's say 20, there should be an option how you can regularly, I mean repeatedly, buy something for €20, and it goes across everything. Like again, I'm coming back to the personalization because, in my opinion, that's something that every game with, I don't know, 100,000 and more revenue per month should have, because there's no other way how to capture the revenue other than personalizing special offers and the content for the players.
Okay, I see no more questions for now. Oh, no, there is one.
Hi. And what are your thoughts on the future of casual games? As you said, like several times, it's a really, you know, like top-heavy market. So we probably, to compete and earn reasonable money, you have to deliver a high-quality product, and which in terms, you know, costs a lot. So it probably means that only like top earners today will be able to make some games in the future. Or what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, the quality of the games is going up across, you know, maybe outside of the hyper-casual, is going up, which ends up being more expensive to produce. And the obvious solution is innovation. Because I know it's extremely hard, but that's why people, you know, switch to a different game, because it's something that they did not have seen before. Like, for example, Archero. In my opinion, their monetization is far from perfect. I believe they could double the revenue, but still, it's, you know, great game.
Yeah, I get it, but you know, like Archero is one of the games that, you know, like it blew up, yeah, and we have like a lot of like mediocre match-3 games, and you cannot just compete with giants like King, for example.
Like
So
speaking specifically about match-3 games, in my opinion, it's extremely hard. And if I would invest, I'm not sure if I would go this direction due to the, somebody being 10 years on the market, innovating, launching multiple games. Like, how can you compete with it? Yes, I agree. But on the other hand, the project Makeover that I was showing up, I know it took 2 years to develop and millions, but
yeah, it's like a really high quality game, which in terms costed a lot of money. So yeah, I guess I get it. So do you predict like we will have some new type of games? Yeah, it's not like a lot of new match-3 games. It will be more like innovative type of games like Archero and so on and so forth.
recently, a few months ago, there was a game launched by the studio owned by SuperScale, and it's a copy of Guitar Hero. But it was a long time until there was a good game on mobile with a core theme of tapping to the music. So, for example, that's like a verified game that worked on the consoles or somewhere else, and they just brought the same game for the mobile and optimized it for the mobile. And with the innovation, the quality you can do it with lower budget and end up being profitable.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Sure.
I guess we are done.
I will be here, so if any of you want to talk anything about monetization, growing games, and so on, I'm here. I also will be here tomorrow, so feel free to reach out and discuss.
Okay, thanks again.